So what I'm going to talk about, and then I want to open it up, I'm going to ask you questions and you ask me questions. But what I want to just talk about is something that you don't see much in the media and you don't hear much in Congress. And that is, you are living in a country today where one person, Mr. Musk, owns more wealth than the bottom 52% of American households. You got that? One person, more wealth, some 400 billion, than the bottom 52% of American households. In America today, the top 1% owns more wealth than the bottom 93%. CEOs of large companies make 350 times what their workers make. That is America today. People on top 1%, have never in the history of the United States of America, our great country, never had it so good. They're making more money than they can count. But what is going on in rural West Virginia, rural Vermont, all over America? 60% of our people are living paycheck to paycheck. You all know what living paycheck to paycheck is about? You got 800,000 people who are homeless in America. You got 85 million Americans who have no health insurance or who are underinsured, and as a result of Trump's bill, that situation is going to become even worse. So in America, in a sense, you got two countries. People on top doing phenomenally well, working class people struggling. Here's another fact you don't hear much about. In the last 50 years, all of you know, we've seen an explosion in technology. Every worker in this room is producing significantly more than a similar type worker did 50 years ago. Have wages kept up with worker productivity increases? You got the right answer. It's a sad answer, but you're right. And here's an amazing fact, that over the last 50 years, real inflation accounted for weekly wages are lower today than they were 50 years ago. All right? During that period, there was a massive transfer of wealth. According to the Rand Corporation, not a particularly progressive group, $75 trillion in wealth was transferred from the bottom 90% to the top 1%. So what you have seen over the last many, many decades, way before Trump, people working longer and longer hours, struggling to put food on the table, in many cases seeing a decline in their standard of living, today worried that their kids, in many ways, are going to be worse off than they are, and almost all new income and wealth goes to the people on top. And then on top of all of that, it's not only income and wealth inequality. Anybody here think that the American healthcare system is working well? How many major countries on earth do not guarantee healthcare to all of their people as a human right? Anybody know? You're living in it. I live in northern Vermont, 50 miles away from the Canadian border. You get sick in Canada, you need a heart transplant, whatever it is, you end up in the hospital. You know what the bill is when you come out? Zero. And they end up spending much less per person than we do on healthcare. And I want to speak about this issue. I was chairman of the committee. It's an issue that I've dealt with for years. The system we have today is not only dysfunctional and broken, it is unbelievably cruel. You got about 500,000 Americans every year who go bankrupt because of medically related illnesses. They can't pay their bills, they go bankrupt. Does it make sense to anybody that because you come diagnosed with cancer or some other terrible disease that you should go bankrupt? That is crazy. We have 60,000 people a year who die unnecessarily because they don't go to a doctor when they should. Right? I've talked to doctors all over this country. And they say, you know, people coming into my office and they're really sick. And the doctor said, why didn't you come in here when you first got your symptoms? Well, I don't have any insurance. I couldn't pay the deductible. And people die unnecessarily as a result of that. In America today, we pay by far, not even close, the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs. Now, the good news for all of you who are major investors in the pharmaceutical industry is you made $100 billion in profit last year. The bad news is if you get sick and you go to the drugstore, you're paying by far the highest prices in the world, in some cases 10 times more than people in other countries. So what we're looking at in America today, in my view, is a nation, people on top, got it all, they're doing really well, working class people struggling. Healthcare system broken. A lot of kids cannot afford to go to college. That's why by the time they leave school, they're going to be $50,000, $100,000 in debt. You got a housing crisis that exists in many, many parts of this country. Hundreds of thousands of people homeless, other people paying 40, 50% of their limited incomes for housing. So the challenge that we face, and I want your questions on this, and it's not easy stuff, is essentially how do we create an economy in the richest country on earth that works for working people and not just billionaires. And one of the impediments that we have as we go forward, it's not just the economy which is broken, we have a political system which is broken.